I was just gonna say this one little thing. This like it's one of those super like American things. Like, yeah, that's might be what you do there, but this is what we call it here. In like the Netherlands, they call their type of cheese. They call it kaas. That's how you pronounce cheese. It's kaas. Gouda is what we call Dutch cheese. Gouda, but over there,
just called Dutch cheese.
Yeah, Dutch cheese is Gouda. So that's just the way they make cheese, though. It's kind of like how the Japanese call a sword a katana, but we just call it, okay, that's what their version is.
Yeah.
There, though, it's just like, they almost kind of like label the cheese. Like, whatever, because the cheese is a big deal there. Whenever you buy cheese, it says what town it was made in. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, technically, this isn't Gouda or Gouda, whatever. This is actually from this town, so it's blank, that town, Kaas. I'm like, really? Like, yeah. So you mean America just so you said like so basically so Americans just said Gouda's easier to remember. Like, yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. So rather than calling it just Kaas or Dutch cheese, we just call it name after the one town where it's popularly made in, and that's why we call it that. Just because it's just easier to remember for us.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I'm gonna say this. Like in a small country, I feel you can name shit after towns, but you can't do that like in the U.S. That'd be like way too much to remember.
Oh, I'm not splitting hairs on like, oh, is this cheese? Is this Rotterdam cheese or is this Gouda cheese? Tastes the fucking same.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not splitting hairs on that.
Like, I don't trust those cows from that other town. They're up to no good there.
Those no good grass eating fucks. Well, your cows eat grass, but it's different grass. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like it from the corn cow. Oh, what, like cow eating grass? I want me eating corn, like a big bag of corn nuts right there. That's my kind of cow, you know. Give him some dish premium and just have him like a lounge on the couch, or her. I should specify it's not the man. We're not jerking a cow off right now.
Not yet, at least.
To make our cheese, or maybe we are. Maybe that's the secret sauce and shit. It just got out, but you know what I mean.
It is what it is. Yeah. So that's just one of those things. They just. Here we call it Gouda. There they got a name for it for whatever town it's from. So, but at the end of the day, yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, just those different names, just the small little differences there, and so on to name your stuff and so on. I guess that's almost equivalent to like the champagne thing that it champagne literally has to come from France's champagne, or else it's just sparkling wine.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh, it's the same boat. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, if you get champagne from California, it's just sparkling wine. It's not champagne. If you get champagne from down the street from Champagne, France, it's not actually in the zip code district. It's just sparkling wine. Fuck those like outsiders.
Isn't there like a Paris in Idaho or something? Isn't there like a Paris somewhere in the United States, but it's nothing like or fancy or anything like that?
There probably is a few of them. There's probably like, in a sense, a bunch of French dudes just move into a community and be like, yeah, New Paris.
Well, that's what East Coast is. It's all named after like European town, just the New York, So
I like it's like fuck England, but you know what? We're gonna just name everything after England. But I thought you hate those guys. Yeah. We haven't got a lot.
Some things never leave you. What can I say?
All
right, ready to record? Hope so.
Oh yeah, we're already here. Hello, the old man.
Oh, we're already recording? Shit.
We're there.
I don't even know if that shit was funny that I was saying.
You and your Gouda. You're just walking around, just like putting different Goudas on like different burgers and so on, just looking like the Hamburglar guy from like Popeye. What the hell's that guy's name again?
The Hamburglar.
No, is that really his
Popeye?
Name? Yeah.
Wimpy.
Wimpy, yeah, there we go. Yeah, because I said the Hamburglars from McDonald's.
I don't know why you said Popeyes, and I heard you say Popeyes, but I just heard McDonald's.
Yeah.
So I just thought me just running around like with a mask, like domino mask. There goes another fucking American.
No, I was thinking
back stateside.
Well, I don't know if walking around being called wimpy and eating burgers over there is probably the greatest thing either, but
no.
Slapping Gouda cheese on your burgers as you're walking down the street.
Yeah, no.
But hello, welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan. If people, this is their first time tuning in, last week and change, last few weeks, I was overseas. I'm back stateside, but I am still adjusting the time change, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, exactly. And we're continuing our Evangelion marathon, now on part 2.22. You cannot advance. Don't you fucking try to get ahead in life. You can't advance. That's what this movie's telling you right off the bat. They're like, you know what? Just because your dad doesn't let you come to the fucking T-ball games anymore, and he's got a new kid that's kind of like a half kid, half mom, half wife. I know that's more halves than there is halves.
Doomsday Key too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? When you're leading like the head defense network of the world, because we all know we can't leave it up to anybody but the Japanese to make sure this angel problem's taken care of. But that's how I sort of feel in Evangelion. They sort of mention these other places, but it seems like everybody else is a bunch of fuck-ups.
Well, it's also one of those things where they say, like, okay, well, ever since the third impact, because here's the thing with the show. They do things about, like, they address things that I feel like a lot of giant robot things don't address. Like, oh, yeah, we can only have 3 Evas on a continent given the Vatican Treaty or whatever, just for in case an angel attacks here or angel attacks there. I'm like, well, it's Japan.
I just love how it made it feel like after World War II they wrote that up there. So like, okay, I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but when it comes to the giant robot war time period, I want to make sure that we got this sealed up. Be like, oh, okay, here he comes again,
One. Well, it's just the whole idea of, like, I feel like a lot of shows don't really address that kind of thing, but in this, they kind of go out of the way. At the same time, though, they're just kind of letting these kids, like, run loose around the city, even though, like, oh, yeah, I know they say Secret Service is always watching them, and the first of the remakes kind of got that more across than the show did, even though this show kind of mentioned it here and there. But at the same time, there's certain things I feel like they really go out of their way to let you know. But granted, I think for the way because this is where they start changing things up. Because half of this is what you kind of expect from the original show. Half this is different. And I think for that plot point that really, where things really change, they really had to bring that up to give logic and give reason to why.
Yeah, and I still love how it's like, once, even though we got the Secret Service watching, God forbid can you kids stay here, at our government buildings. Now, we want you living off-site. Especially Ray. You know what? Give her the shitty fucking apartment at the end of town.
Well, I also like there's that whole part where he's like, I can't. I'm having dinner. I'm having dinner with my surrogate father / clone dad or whatever. Because basically Ray is, for people who don't know, Ray is, spoilers, but I think people know by this point if you're watching. I think most people who've seen the rebuild have seen the original. Ray is a clone of Shinji's mom, as well as the Doomsday Key, Lilith. Mm-hmm. And he treats her kind of like a daughter still. So it's just kind of like, I want to have dinner with my wife, but she's 14. And like, I love the riveting conversations they have at dinner. Like, Commander Akari, do you like having dinner? Yes, I rather enjoy it. Do you like having dinner with people? Yes, at times when I'm not too busy. Would you like to have dinner with Shinji? No.
Fuck no. Shit no.
We gotta limit. We gotta pump the brakes here. He's your kid, but he's your son, though. Yeah, I know, but still, I'm just some things just ain't ready for,
I'm kind of more of a daughter guy, not really a son one, and it was just hard to kind of, at least you win your T-ball games, Ray. That's why we keep you around. That's why we like you around here. You know what I mean?
I mean, granted, it's just that the whole team is all just Rays because you're a fucking clone. So yeah. So you all have the same batting average.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of programmed in there. But try to program it into Shinji, but it's kind of a fuck up. Just saying, I mean, I guess I like him in a way, not love him, like him. I like him like I don't know, like that kind of kid behind like the 7-Eleven who, just doesn't say much and just kind of hands you your change and calls it a day. Like I like him like about that much.
That or kind of like, a nice succulent on the windowsill. You know what I mean? Like I want to water it, make sure it survives, but if it doesn't, I'll just go to the store and get another one.
I just want to make sure there's glass between, the succulent mix. I don't want to hear it.
Well, it's a succulent. Oh, you know what I mean.
I also love how that scene too is because like they're sitting there talking. It reminds me of like Citizen Kane, like when they have like the table gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Or even like 1989 Batman, like when he has the date with Vicky Vale, how they're just on
the far, just
far
so,
apart, just drinking cold soup.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So it's like, and then it's like, I love how Ray is just like, it's like, I'm gonna make a nice dinner and invite all my somewhat friends over, but just so Shinji and his dad can get together. And it's almost reminds like one of those ones like, oh, Ray's gonna make it at her apartment? Well, have you seen what it looks like there? I mean, I don't want to be rude or anything, but how can we get out of this? I don't think she's ever cleaned once there. And I don't believe she's gonna clean just because she has guests over. I don't think she gets that concept yet.
Well, I think it's also just kind of funny, the idea of just like, she's like, who is this man? Mr. Clean? You know, she's just like looking at a bottle. Like, is Mr. Clean trustworthy? Is he clean? Well, he's not a man. You spray it around the house and you wipe it down. Like, I believe I can do that. Okay, great. That'll be $750.
Oh, I need money. Yeah. You're at the convenience store. I mean, I know it's a convenience, but it's not a convenience for me to give that to you for free now. So, yeah, miss. You're not getting that.
Just goes home anyway, just like, oh, fuck it, you know. Like, who am I trying to impress, really? It's for them, you know. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, I love how also they can afford to have the Secret Service guys all around all these characters, but God forbid, can they just have one, like, you know, Secret Service guy be the maid for them or something like that? Can't just one guy come in and just run a mop and a duster a couple times, you know, do a little bit of vacuuming? You know what I mean?
Well, then you get other nerd employees saying something like, okay, yeah, so the fucking kids fucking jerking off into socks onto the comatose girls in the other movie, yeah, they get a fucking cleanup guy, but we got oh, Jesus Christ. I show up to work on time, I still have to fucking bend over backwards to get my fucking health care, right?
Yeah, exactly. These fucking kids not only get, you know, Secret Service that fucking go invisible, you know, but yeah, they also get a cleaning maid.
You want to know how much my down payment for my fucking health insurance was the other day? $400. $400 for 2 fucking pills. Jesus fucking Christ.
That's what the other guy points like. He's like, hey, you don't need the health insurance for work. You know, you can just literally go out and get any of your own plan. No, no, I want it kind of out of sight, out of mind. I want just to take it out of my paycheck. You know, just be like, I think you're really making this more complicated than it needs to be.
This is the 2 guys in the control room, the dude with the glasses and the dude with the long hair.
Yeah,
this conversation.
It'd almost be like Cabin in the Woods where you just kind of got like the workplace banter.
You know what? I didn't think about it till you just brought it up, but that Cabin in the Woods thing, the comparison to Evangelion, I can kind of see that. I mean, I know that they're never the main focus, but, you know, they're dealing with this end-of-the-world shit stuff all day, and they just have this casual banter going on, and there in the show, there were moments where, I don't remember Hyuga was the guy with the glasses, and he had a bigger part because he helped Masato break open some kind of conspiracy, and there's the dude with the long hair, I don't remember his name, but they had moments in episodes and all that, where in the movies it's a little bit more streamlined.
Yeah, they're like, whoa, you cut that, like, D story out of here.
I remember there's an episode where everything goes blackout, and I think Hyuga is like, there's a blackout, there's an angel attack, and the kids are trying to get to the Nerve Central, and then, like, they're in, like, a little, like, go-kart thing, and they're trying to get into Nerve, and he says, like, but the drivers are, just go, yeah! Like, the driver and Hyuga are, like, amped up, like, let's fucking do this! And, like, there was, like, one lady in the back seat freaking out.
I know, they almost need to have more of those kind of characters in there, just to sort of break it up, just be like, here's our one little, like, I mean, I know that might seem like the strange, goofy comic relief characters that sometimes don't fit in certain things, but, you know, just a little bit of those guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we go into more spoilers for this, it's kind of one of those things where I think it's interesting how they open up. Like, there is the whole part where they go to I think just to give more exposition and more lore to this version, and kind of also lead you in, like, oh yeah, maybe this is kind of a sequel and not a reboot entirely, is when they go to that section, like, oh wow, the world used to have blue water, and they have the
aquarium.
You know, it's like, yeah, they go to the aquarium, and the 3 pilots, and then Toji and Kinsuke are also there, and it's just basically that long thing of like, okay, we really got to sanitize you before you go in. There's like 5 things that get sanitized and washed like a bunch of times in that montage, and the whole time they're like, fuck, and Ray's just standing there like
in the background. I like that's like, okay, if we're gonna do the hot water now we're gonna do the cold water, now we're gonna do the gas chamber. Oh, just kidding, kids. Oh, you didn't get that joke? Got fucking kids these days.
By then, are you even looking forward to seeing the whale? Like, great, it's the way I got to do this whole thing all over again in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I even had the fast pass and everything.
Oh, the fast pass doesn't skip you out of the clean chamber.
Yeah.
You're getting sanitized no matter what.
Even faster, actually, So, but no, that's like the one kind of like lighthearted. I mean, there's lighthearted moments throughout this one, but it's I feel like this one has a lot more yin and yang to it, because I feel like the last one, it's a bit more somber, and there is still some humor to it. But in this part of the series, this is where Asuka comes in, so it gives the show more opportunity to have more lighthearted, funny moments. But then I feel like it takes a real hard turn, like the last half of it, because it's kind of like, you know what? There's some action, there's some stakes, but it's actually kind of funnier and kind of more lighthearted than the last movie. Oh, what? You thought this was going to be optimistic the whole way through?
Yeah. First, because you get Asuka coming. Well, Asuka just comes in here just as like almost like, I'm the best at everything. Like, look at me, I'm so fucking awesome. I got a cock the size this big. Like, you're a woman. Yeah, that's how big my fucking dick is. Like, almost like that fucking idiot boy Shinji walking around.
Limp dick bitch.
I just love how they just kind of write that character as just like, almost like if it was an American one, that would be like the total douchebag character with like the sideways cap on, who just thinks he's better than everybody else.
Look at my labia, it's like 2 dicks next to each other.
But like I don't know what it is, but whenever there's like the chick character that's written like that, just always just makes me laugh so hard. It's just like, oh, I'm so fucking tough, come on, man, like, show you up, Shinji, you fucking idiot. Like, just because your dad fucking works here, I see how it is. That's why you got a fucking job. Which is a fucking clone sister, fucking cunt.
Real talk, even though she comes in all like hot and bothered like that, I think this does a good job of letting you know how fucked she is in the head. Because not long after she's introduced, we cut to her in bed with a fucking doll. Like, it's okay, Asuka, you're better than everybody. Like, oh,
yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Fucking A.
Like, I feel like she's just one step away. I feel like she's one step away from talking to that doll. Like, kill them all! Kill them all! No, not yet. We must be patient. But the reckoning is upon them! Like, I feel like it's only, like, one step away from that.
Yeah, she really is like one step away from being a supervillain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's just there, but it's like, it's okay. She's got kind of like the douchebag guy, hanging out at Applebee's, like, attitude to cover up those problems.
Well, I also feel like, I mean, of course, when you meet somebody, that's not the way you say, like, you're a fucking tailcoat rider, I know you are, you're fucking... Just punches them for no reason. Like, oh, so I see you met Asuka. Like, I like how she's flat out talking shit to him, smacking him around, kicking his ass in front of a Masato. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, whatever, you want to move in?
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's what was Shinji's like, no, what you thinking? This girl just kicked the shit out of me. Like, she jumped right out of her Ava, just started beating the fucking shit out of me. Called me a bitch,
Filmed it on her phone, yelled world star. Yeah. Now she's fucking moving in. Like, should we really move in the abusive girl with major ego issues and, like, sociopathic tendencies in with the kid who's very, who's already got the fate of the world on his shoulders, combined with major self-esteem issues? Yeah. I think it's going to pan out just fine. Don't worry about it.
Plus, she's got more. She's literally got more shit than there's room in this apartment.
Yeah. It's funny because it says something, because apparently there's some kind of poll about Western fans versus Eastern fans, as far as like fans, like who'd you like more, Rey or Asuka? Western fans like Asuka way more. Apparently, Eastern fans like Rey way more.
It just sounds like in East, we like a woman to know her place and shut the fuck up. And in America, it's like, I don't know, I kind of like the loudmouth wild one. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I mean, like, we'll probably get a divorce later on, but she's a wild card, Shit, come on. Have at it,
it'll be a fun marriage for the first 2 years. I mean, yeah, it's going to end in bitter divorce, but shit, it's going to be fun till then. But the sex is great.
Yeah, like that's sort of what it feels like, where somebody else is like, no, like I want someone who's got respect. She knows like how to take care of things. I mean, well, she doesn't take care of the fucking house, so I don't know if I could trust Ray now. Now I think about it.
She doesn't have a vacuum
one
cleaner.
Apartment like taken care of. But...
she's probably good in school, I'd assume. Here's another question.
There wasn't like a third part where it's just like, no, I want Shinji. I want somebody I could boss around and force him to do stuff.
So do you want to marry a man or a boy? Dude, like, I don't really want to marry him. I just want a boy around the house so I can boss around and yell at to do shit. And then, his payment once in a while say, you did good. And that's enough to get him by for the next month. But you can't be throwing that out every other day. You got to really piece it out. You kind of want to give him hope. And as soon as he's getting a little confident, pull that hope away, rinse, repeat. Kind of keeps him in the same spot.
Yeah, every once in a while you just hand him a new cassette. He'll just listen to that shit on repeat for like the next 2 weeks, and he's good to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, he's never gonna be late to work because he just sits in the corner moping, listening to that fucking his Elliott Smith like cassette.
Yeah, you know what? I've been trying to weed him off that a bit. I've kind of worked him through the emo phase. Now he's into the grunge phase. I feel it's progressively stepping up. I know some people might look like that's the wrong direction, but I'm doing it in baby steps here.
I'm not a fan of Limp Bizkit, but I think if I can get him listening to that, it might boost his ego a little bit. Let's get him on some of that new metal shit. Like, I'm not really a fan of it, but I think that he might need it, though,
Yeah, I mean that's what Asuka's always blaring in her fucking Ava.
Rollin', 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 what? Rollin', 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 come on.
I mean, I think it's kind of a cover-up. I don't know. I haven't really kind of looked at it too far. But yeah, she kind of doubled down on that stuff.
She's German, so of course there's going to be some Rammstein in there.
Yeah, I got to have the Rammstein and everything, but yeah. No, it is kind of interesting how I guess like the people would kind of like the different audience kind of looking at that stuff. I always feel like for me, if it feels like, oh, who's probably like my favorite character? Probably Masato. That's probably my favorite one out of them all. I think that's like, I like her
Masato.
like back and forth personality of just being like almost an alcoholic crazy person, and then also the person who's in charge of making all this stuff run properly.
Something I wanted to mention last time, but forgot to. But I think, I mean, I'm not the first to make this comparison, because where Masato is essentially Masato, Kaji, Ritsuko, all of them. They're essentially, well, now we're roughly the same age or older than what they are in the show. But at the time when it came out, it was meant to be like, okay, this is like generation Generation Y or whatever, So it was kind of like this is like millennials, Generation Y, and they didn't have time to really have a childhood because the Third Impact happened, like I think in 2000 in the original one, or the Second Impact happened, and then from there they all had to like adjust quickly. So the whole idea of like Masato would probably just be like what you said, like in a regular world where that didn't happen, she probably would be someone working at a convenience store, going and partying as soon as she got off, stumbling home drunk and eating food, and probably be like the town cougar or whatever, or just party hard, be going to like rock shows, whatever she, spending all her money on that kind of thing. I think that's kind of like meant to show through in some way, just for the way they act, but they just never had a chance to really do that because they were working from childhood on.
Yeah, well, it's like they always kind of mention like the past scenes or whatever. They're like, oh yeah, it's like we all kind of went to college. She's Masato, and then the dude with the long hair, what's his name? The ponytail.
Kaji,
and then the blonde chick too. I can't remember her name.
Ritsuko,
yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, we all, and it makes it just feel like, yeah, we all just kind of like, went to the college, shared the same dorm, always had three-ways. It was kind of fucking weird, but that's what we were into. There were no cell phones back then or anything. It was just how life was, And yeah, it got kind of weird at one moment, and we all sort of, or I guess I went my separate ways, and I went into management. They took over the Japanese division, and yeah, that's how it kind of is. No, I manage this garden, Shinji, and you'll learn to love this garden, right? Oh, no. Well, whatever. You'll figure it out, dude. Dude, remember, Shinji, chicks love fucking plants, right?
I feel like, I get it because there's only so much you can get into a movie. I feel like Kaji's a little shortchanged in this because he kind of gives Shinji the pep talk to get up and run out there and save the day. But in this one, circumstances happen differently, and those watermelons get destroyed. In this, he doesn't get a chance to save those watermelons. And there's even a part where he says, like, if I die, I want you to water... Actually, no, that may have been to Masato or something. He told somebody, if I die, water these watermelons for me while I'm gone.
I think that's in the show. I don't think that wasn't in this one.
Yeah, that was in the show.
Okay,
yeah,
I was just thinking, I remember that scene now. No, and this was more just like, yeah, because they find the watermelons and whatnot, and then he tells her, he's like, yo, Shinji, you gotta take care of Masato for me. You know what, man? I can't be there, you know? Because of that weird three-way moment that we had back in the day where, you know, there was that mirror in front of us, and, you know, yeah. It was
Shinji,
weird.
let me ask you something else.
We couldn't afford a mirror before, but then we bought a mirror one day, and it changed everything. So, Shinji, whatever you do, don't get a mirror, you know?
It was just fun to watch, all three of us at once. We weren't smiling or laughing or nothing. We were just all, like, deadpan looking in the mirror. It was kind of weird, but just sort of happened. What can I say?
And then there was a watermelon on the ground, and it fell over and cracked open, and I had an epiphany.
Sex is like a different thing when you're on it.
Just this long pause.
Sex is a different thing when you're on E. I'm going to tell you that right now. It also makes it a little rougher because it dries you out, too, so...
So, Shinji, who you go for, Asuka or Rei? Shinji just kind of mumbles in the back. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Rei's kind of like your, like, half-sister, mother thing. I don't know, could be kind of kinky.
That's not, I didn't hear you say no.
Yeah, like, you like to keep your options open. That's how I've always looked at life. You know?
There's that one part where it's just like, he says, like, I need you to look after Masato. I need you to be, like, grow up and become an adult. First things first, though. You ever fucked a man before? What? Just kidding.
Well, I do love there's that scene, though, where, like, he literally comes to, like, the locker room and stuff. He's just like, hey, Shinji, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, it's almost he says, like, something like, you ever felt the love? Or, like, the love can also be between not just a man and a woman, but between two men. He, like, comes up real close, and then all you hear is, like, a scream from, like, the distance, and then it's like, he's just like, ha, thought I was going for the kiss, fucking fag.
Well, I feel like that scene also, because
seems like one of those ones. It's a 14-year-old boy. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you saw that in real life, that would be the most, like, weirdest fucking thing ever. Like, just they come up to a 14-year-old. Like, if you dicked around for, like, an 18-year-old boy for, like, it was his first day at work and you were, like, you know, 10 years older than him, that could be kind of funny in a goofy way where you're creeping out this kid, but, like, it's not so much weird that, like, oh, shit, like, now you just got some weird, like, child sexual harassment going on now.
Well, it's also, like, I feel like that was there kind of just to plant the seeds, because I think some people, I don't know about in Japan, but in America, when Kwaru came in the show, and then Shinji was conflicted, it was kind of like, maybe he did like Kwaru the same way, maybe he didn't, but he was kind of conflicted about it. Mm-hmm. I think they're trying to plant the seeds that maybe Shinji goes both ways, or he's open to whatever with that, because he even says something like, when you said we were going on a date, like, oh, so he is dating him, but kind of not at the same time. You know what I mean? So I'm not entirely sure.
I think that was more like a joke, because he's out there, like, fucking, like, picking weeds out of the fucking garden and stuff. He's like, hey, I thought this would be a fucking date, like, more like, I thought you were going to, like, give me some chocolates and, like, you know, try to fuck me in the back of, like, a Volkswagen or something.
No, I gave you some canned coffee so you'd pull those weeds faster. Now shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Do a good job. Maybe I will suck your dick. Will you? I don't know. Maybe. Shit. Depends how many weeds you pull.
Yeah. And how fucking drunk we get later at the sake bar. Oh, wait. You can't drink yet? Shit, I guess it's just me tonight. You'll be the sober driver. Here's my keys.
Yeah. Wait in the parking lot. Just tosses them as he walks out.
It just says, like, 5 hours later, he just comes stumbling out. Shinji's just there's just a couple of hobos standing around Shinji, like, making weird eye contact.
He's like, Shinji's in the car, just waiting, looking around. The hobos are just around the car.
Just
like, let us in!
Like, hands looking in the window, just, like, coming around.
Kaji's like, get! Like, they just run away.
They run away, like, on all fours.
Sorry about that. This isn't the first time they've kind of, like, hung around. They know I'm here, and they always know I have a designated driver in the front. It's usually that fucking Asuka girl, but, you know. She's able to scare them off, but I think they sense the weakness in you. You know, they're kind of primal. They kind of could sense that type of shit.
And you know, sexually, they're not picky at all. just if you know, I mean, you're 14 years old. There's just some things you gotta learn about the world. Hobos will fuck anything.
Just an inspirational poster of the Kaji with a fucking like jacket slung over his shoulder, looking at the sunset near his watermelons. Like, hobos, they'll fuck anything. Kaji.
You know, I always kind of wish he had. I mean, like in the show, I know he gets more parts and so on, but I just always like, even in this one, he's kind of there. But this kind of reminds me like almost sort of like they're trying to they got to fit him in there. But then it's also like you get that new chick in there, the Mari chick or whatever, how you pronounce her name. Like that, I feel like by kind of fitting her in there, that almost sort of takes a little bit of his scene. Not saying he gets too, like, you know, totally robbed, but you know, they have this new kind of like, I guess you would say fourth pilot that comes in to sort of kind of take over in a sense. And she comes from like the European division or whatnot, right?
Yeah. Now, did you watch the English version or the Japanese version?
Japanese version.
I watched the English version. I'm wishing I watched the Japanese version because the thing is, I have this movie on Blu-ray, but I didn't feel like digging it up. And
well, I watched it on Amazon.
I have it on DVD, but I didn't feel like digging it up, so I just watched the Amazon version. And the dub on that is different. Some of the voices are the same, but the dub is different. Mari's voice really fucking was grinding in the English dub. And they even changed some of the lines. Like, there's a part where, like, when she's fighting the angel and she's like they have like this very soft, like, oh gee, I sure hope I can do it kind of voice of the very anime-ish girl, kind of like, oh boy, I hope it all pans out, but I got a strong will kind of voice, you know.
Yeah, the optimistic, like it's all gonna work out character.
Which she has a little bit of that, but she's almost a little crazy. That's the thing with her. Like, she's a little like quirky and kind of off, but she's really good at what she does. And then when she's fighting the angel, though, at the beginning in that one half-finished Eva, and it's on the wheels and all that. Something about the Japanese version is it's actually, at the time when the movie was made, it was the biggest Japanese pop star that was voicing her. So that was the reason why they always have her humming and singing, because it's kind of like, oh, it's that Japanese pop star, but she's just singing like some random, you know, little like nursery rhyme or something like that, Japanese nursery rhyme.
I almost want to say in the Japanese dub or Japanese... whatever. Well, I guess they're always dubbed, but you know, in the Japanese version that I watch, I don't remember her singing at all.
It's when she's like getting into the robot and it's going like she's just singing like some kind of little nursery rhyme song. She's getting all amped up to go and kill.
Okay, I guess I sort of know what you mean. Because that's I watched whatever the Japanese version was on on Amazon. You got like 15 different languages you can kind of choose from. You gotta be careful you don't click on like the other version. You get the Vietnamese version of it or something.
Oh, I actually now want to see that and put on subtitles just to out of curiosity, know how that sounds. But the other thing though is it actually gets she's like in the English version. I can't speak for the Japanese version because I haven't seen that one in a long time. But the English version, the one that I had on DVD. She gets like fucking crazy, like screaming because she's like pushing when she's like with both hands pushing the Joy-Con thing, and she's just like she's screaming. She literally says this in the English version, which surprised me. She's like, "Just fucking die!" and the thing explodes like right as she says that, like the last second. So it's like, oh god, this chick's fucking brutal. But in this, it's just like a lot more of that. Oh, I hope I can do it. I got big boobs, So
I wonder if like. Because it didn't have, there was no fucks in the Japanese subtitle version, so I'm thinking that they sort of just edited that out. Now I'm not saying that that's necessarily like they cut it. That might be like almost like that old-fashioned thing, like back in like when they'd put animes out in like the 80s, and they'd have just like the dub team that would come and do it in a closet, and they're just like, hey, it's an adult animation, like nobody's gonna fucking really see this except for nerds or whatnot at the video rental store, so have at it. So I know here it just says like, hey, let's get downtown right now, but so just go like, hey, let's get the fuck downtown right now. Shit, I don't give a fuck. Just say whatever you want. Like that's how I feel like Appleseed is. Like Appleseed just feels like, how many fucks can we like fit in here somewhere? Because
how many times can you have someone say cocksucker too?
Yeah, exactly. And I wonder if that was almost like the thing when these movies came out, because this was almost like these Evangelion movies were sort of used as like, this was another kind of big point where it's like, hey, we can kind of make a serious adult animation, you know, when it was like that kind of thing. It's going to be rated R and all this kind of stuff, though it's kind of more just like a hard PG-13. But I felt like at that time period, like, yeah, we're going to throw a fuck in there. Because it was just that era where it's just like, we started to be able to say fuck in video games now. We're going to say it in animes too. Other than Appleseed and so on. I mean, I know that it's sort of been done before, but it's been a while.
Well, it's also like, Evangelion is like a weird thing because originally when you think about it, it was something aimed at teenagers. And it was originally even on a kid's time slot, but then like, you know what, maybe we should just put this on an older time slot because it is getting a little darker, a little heavier. And then after that, the guy Ono went into a depression while making it, and then he just was like, you know what, there's some things these kids gotta fucking know. And then it got kind of heavier and kind of darker and more cerebral, and now we still have this thing coming out that is still ostensibly technically for like teenagers, but at the same time it's still like a full-grown adult working through like his depression and his like anxieties and all that kind of shit. So it's kind of like this weird like idiot Shinji, and then you have, you know, like Ritsuko kind of breaking down, like talking about like, why, like, we're only friends with benefits. I actually loved you, but you never loved me. You only wanted the fucking clown, you know? So it's like the show would get real. It got very real near the end, but leading up to it, it was just kind of like, it's weird because it starts off like kind of somber, but still like, you know, like a teenager can get into this. Then to being kind of like anime tropey in the sense of like the wacky, funny, fan servicey type shit with the robot action, and then with all like the heavy shit at the end. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of a similar way, except for that one goes progressively into it, but almost like the way that sort of like almost Full Metal Alchemist kind of can be too, where all of a sudden you can have sort of a wacky episode, and then next thing you know, you can have it be like, this guy just turned his daughter into a chimera with like a 6-year-old kid, like, it's fucking dark, and shit's going down, like, and the next episode it's gonna be like fucking like, Ed's fucking slipping on a banana peel. Is that the whole episode? Yeah, that's the whole episode. What's Al doing? Oh, he's just laughing and clapping.
Yeah.
Well, what else is going on? Well, they got the Benny Hill like theme playing in the background too while this is all going on.
It's just that animation on a loop for 22 minutes of him just rolling downstairs, like with the same like sound effect happening, and you're like, you wouldn't stop watching. It's like something's gonna happen at some point, you know? Like, yeah, what's gonna happen? He gets to the bottom of the staircase, the episode ends. Like, oh, credits. That's it.
Tune in next week.
Well, no, this one, because it goes from like, you know, abrupt kind of like, here's all the funny, all the wacky shit, back to, oh, we're not just jumping to the later half of the series. We're jumping to shit that happens in the previous movie.
Yeah. So it sort of has that kind of stuff coming in there too. But yeah, in this one too, even as you kind of get to like that second half and you start getting like the kind of the thinking scenes and the watermelons, like, Shinji, remember the watermelons. Like, take care of Masato for me. And you start getting to that point. Then you get to the part where like, Asuka jumps into like the brand new unit and whatnot. She's like, I ain't going to no fucking dinner made by Rei. Like, no androids making me. She's not an android. Whatever. I don't give a fuck what she is. I don't want food made out of that goddamn apartment. So I'm gonna go test out this new untested, you know, Ava that we just got shipped in from someplace in Europe that we just didn't specify where. So, you know, obviously somebody doesn't have some rules or regulations of how they put these together. But let's go jump in it and see what happens. And oh, but by the way, they used angel parts in this.
Well, it's also like, what was the other thing with that?
I was just like, you guys didn't scan this before? Like, no, it's like we just opened it out of the package and just like she was ready to jump in it, so we said, fuck it, let's see what happens.
This is the Ava equivalent to buying like the cheap Chinese off-brand.
Yeah, exactly. We're going with it, you know. But instead, we got it from Europe, so I don't know which country we got it from there. Must have been one of those ones they got in like a drug trade or a war, so I don't know. You don't get too picky. When somebody has an Ava, you don't really get that picky. It's not like there's that many of them out there, you know what I mean?
I wish that back in the original show, because when a friend was pitching the show to me and told me the concept, he made it sound like Toji was one of the main cast members and one of the main pilots. And then I realized, oh, he pilots for one episode, then he basically gets knocked off the table. Mm-hmm. And I always thought when I was looking up the show as I was watching it along, that I always thought Unit 3 was one of the coolest looking ones, but too bad it just gets knocked out. They probably made it look all kind of badass and creepy since it was one of the ones they had to take down. But always kind of like, oh man, too bad that thing wasn't. Too bad. I wish he was there a little longer, just as another pilot, so we could see that thing in action a little longer, you know?
Yeah, well, that's like one of those ones. Like, I mean, like I know that they kind of keep the pilots to like a bare minimum, but it almost would be kind of interesting to see. Almost, I guess it's like that sort of Pacific Rim thing. If you could kind of see the pilots from like the other countries and so on, because it's like they sort of mention those, but you never really see any of that stuff.
And that must be pretty like, oh yeah, nerve division in Africa, nerve division in America or Europe. Those are the ones you usually want to be at, unless they just randomly explode from an angel explosion, just from some reason. Because most of the time they're like Japan is where all the shit's going down. Yeah. So it's kind of like,
we're already on our Tokyo 3. What happened to Tokyo 1 and 2? Well, shit.
Can't we just have like an angel? Can't we just have an Ava at all the other continents and all the other Avas at Japan, just because that's where all the shit happens? Like, nah, no, you guys already got enough giant robots over there. The world needs more giant robots, but we need more shit against the fucking angels. Like, yeah, you guys got it. You guys got it so far. You got the depressed boy and the robot girl, and we'll be sending you the bitch that just doesn't shut up.
Yeah, exactly. You know, because we just need to get her off our hands. So here, you take her. You know what I mean? But I also love how like they always keep evacuating the city. But like, literally, let's be honest. Why you moving back to Tokyo 3? Like, there's got to be somewhere else you can go.
It's got to be low property cost or something, or good insurance benefits or something.
Yeah, there's got to be a reason why people keep coming back to Tokyo 3, because it's just like, you know, literally like every other day there's some fucking new angel coming by tearing shit up. Of course, you know, it doesn't help that all the Avas have like no real control. They're just running at full speed, smashing people's houses and property and so on.
Well, that's also the thing. It's like, why do you? I mean, granted, they have the part of like the thing that the angels are trying to get to, are Lilith, which is down at Nerve HQ. Mm-hmm. And that's a little bit off the city. But at the same time, that thing's got to come stumbling through the city one point or another. So you think that by this point it would just be like, guys, don't live in this fucking city. I get the idea. It's cool seeing a city that's modified and made for robot battles, and the way some of the buildings go down, mm-hmm. and like other things, the size of buildings come up that hand off a weapon. Like, that's cool. Like, you know, the idea that we've made a giant arena made to help out the robot fighting the monster. That's a really cool concept. But when you get down to it, I'm not complaining, but when you get down to it, it's just like, yeah, why the fuck why is there a school here?
Yeah. Well, it's like, you think it'd be like the Dragon Ball Z kind of concept where you go like, you know, you get Goku, he's like, no, let's go fly out to the middle of the desert if we're going to have this battle. You know what I mean? No, not here. There's like, so I think it's like Shinji's dad's like, no. I like to see like the little people run.
Well, the whole thing with Shinji's dad is he doesn't give a shit about people, and he is this cold, emotionless asshole. And the reason he wants Instrumentality Project to happen is because he can't relate to people. So he's like, if we all become one and get into a giant soul orgy and become one giant naked version of my wife, like, wait, this needs context. Like, you'll get it later. Look it up on Wikipedia, you know, so.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like one of those ones. Yeah, he has that kind of thing all going on and so on. But I mean, like, in a sense, I guess sometimes like you almost need a guy who doesn't like think emotionally to be running these things. Like I feel like if you had someone like Shinji running this, God forbid what that would really turn out if he was like full on. Well, I mean, that'd be like old world. Like, he's the emperor. He's 14 years old. You guys all literally listening to a fucking 14-year-old sitting on a throne.
But at the same time, though, you also don't want Gendo, because Gendo's fucking things up too in the long run. Yeah. Gendo wants the end of the world to happen. He just wants it to happen by his own terms, not the angels.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't want to let that happen. Well, I'm not just saying necessarily just him himself, but like you don't want somebody with like emotions to be running like a project like that. You know, you need someone who's like serious and can kind of make the tough calls and so on. And I know that's how I think.
Or Masato, she's that good middle ground.
Yeah, she's a good middle. Well, she can make the tough calls and then goes home and drinks about it. And then plays Bob Seger, or not Bob Seger, I said,
George Thorogood.
Yeah, I drink alone. I drink alone. Except
Trying
with
to
my
drink with the penguin. Yeah.
It's just like, this penguin was actually a rescue penguin, and now he's just a full-on alcoholic.
You see this thing play Five Finger Fillet. How's it do that? It doesn't have fingers. Oh, it found a way.
Yeah. He's really good at it, too. But,
it's like that part in Aliens when they get Bishop to go really fast over fucking... What's his name? Fucking Game Over, man. What's his name?
Shit. Fucking...
Passed.
God, just drawing a blank, too. True Lies, fucking Predator 2. If I just keep naming off movies, I'll eventually get to them.
We'll get to it. You know what we're talking about. He's a legend and he passed, but yeah. We'll get to it, yeah.
Yeah, God, I don't know why I'm just drawing. I guess because I was like, it's like the farthest I was thinking of Evangelion. That's my brain's like hit like one side of the wall. It's like almost like we gotta fucking sprint back to the other side to go figure out where that memory was at.
But going back to this though, yeah, what was the example I was gonna make with this movie? I think when watching it, this one kind of caught me off guard for the first time seeing it, because I knew it was gonna mix up and change things around. Like, okay, you're bringing a new pilot, you're hinting Quaru on. What? Yeah.
She likes to sniff everything. She just like lands on, like she just comes flying out of the sky in a parachute, lands on like Shinji, and the first thing she does when she turns around, she just kind of like comes close to him, like, you smell good.
Well, because she smells the LCL, so she's like, oh, he's one of the pilots. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, but at the same time, it's still one of those weird, quirky kind of like maybe it's a Japanese thing. I don't know, but yeah. But the whole thing of like, not that I think Japanese girls are walking up to smelling guys like, yeah, bento, nice, you know. But I feel like I feel like shit. What was the example? Oh yeah, first time watching this thing, I knew that there's going to be some new characters in it. Like I knew she was going to be in. I knew they were going to be teasing Quaru more on, but at the exact same time, like okay, so Asuka is in Unit 3 instead of Toji. Okay, you're mixing that up a little bit. That's kind of interesting. But then you get to that part where Third Impact happens way sooner than originally, and that's where I'm like, oh, holy shit, what? And like, End of the World already kind of starts to happen at the very end of the episode, at the very end of the movie.
Yeah. Well, it starts to happen, and then even like Rey gets like literally eaten by one of the angels and whatnot, and then of course Shinji has to he comes running back after his dad's like, or I guess there's the part before where Asuka gets into like the fucking off-brand fucking like Ava that they purchased for like half price because there was a fucking like lightning deal going on for it.
Came with free shipping.
Yeah, that was the only reason why they got it. They should have really questioned everything else because it had one of those sites that you feel like you shouldn't be putting your credit card into. But there was no PayPal safety or anything. Elon Musk wasn't protecting you there. But yeah, so they got that. Asuka turns into like the angel suit, and then Shinji's dad's like, my fucking kid's fucking up just like that T-ball game all over again. You know what? Put the dummy mode on. Yeah, you know what we call it? Dummy mode? Because that's what you are, son. A fucking dummy. Sorry, is that put the fucking dummy mode on.
Well, that's another example, because even like the ADV version of that, he is like, I like Gendo when he's stern and cold. I think he's that majority of the time. But in the original show, and I don't mean to keep on going back to it, at least in the dub, that was an example where he was like really fucking good, because he was flat out screaming, and even like he's like, Shinji, that's an angel, kill the angel. He's just like, but there's someone in there, because he didn't know who it was. He just knew there's another kid in there, and he's all like, but you'll die. I'd rather die than kill another kid. He's like, God damn it! Like mutters to himself, and then he just yell out like, turn on the doggy dummy plug, and like, but sir, like it's still enticing. Better than the current pilot. Just fucking do it! Like yell at the top of his lungs. And like, oh God, shit got real. Gendo actually raised his voice. It's usually like disappointment, as always. With that one, he's flat out like, oh shit. It's like not like the cold like distant dad. It's the dad coming home with the belt off.
Yeah, exactly. Just because you fucked up at school today. And well, like in this one too, it's almost like just put the dummy mode on. It goes in the dummy mode, and then it just like brutally murders that angel. He's like, we got 208 seconds to get this shit fucking done.
Well, even that part, like, they even made that more violent. You saw the organs, and you saw the organ just slap down, and, like, there's some poor son of a bitch who just, like, I know it's Tokyo 3, but I got a feeling, they say the forecast for these angel attacks are kind of a little lower right now. Like, God, how can I say no with this view right here? It's not really directly in town, but it's close enough to get on a bus. 5 minutes, you're there, do what you want to do. Got a nice yard. Look at the fucking giant robot organs come down and smash it.
This is the guy, too, like, when there's evacuation noise, he's like, hey, I pay my property tax. I don't have to evacuate. It's my house. I can stay here all I want,
I really think, I know we talked about last episode, the idea of, like, oh, we get to watch the Secret Service, like, watching the kids and commenting, like, what are they doing now? Oh, they're playing, the girl got into bed with the kid for some reason, like, she doesn't want to fuck him, but she still gets into bed and says, don't look at me, so I don't know what's going on there, but at the same time, though, then, like, then there's the other episode, then there's the other show you could have, where it's just about the guy, like, just people, like, working at the convenience store in this giant fucking, in the city with these giant fucking robots to fight every day.
Yeah, and they're having to get, by, it's like that one was like, oh, it's another fucking angel battle guy. Now I gotta take the fucking detour route to get to work. Takes an extra 15 minutes. I'm gonna be fucking late. The boss gonna be fucking yelling at me.
Look, I don't care if Jesus comes down with a fucking harpoon, alright?
Yeah.
That's something I wish that happened.
Who's gonna make the fucking sandwiches, huh? Who's gonna make the fucking sandwiches? Not fucking Jesus, I'll tell you.
I do wish at some point they fought a giant Jesus, like Ava Unit 1 just getting Jesus in a headlock and then like goes berserker and tries to eat him.
Yeah, exactly. Just the Jesus like he's going Super Christ.
Jesus goes Super Saiyan, like just let the hair and the beard go up.
Yeah, exactly. One of those ones. Be like, well, I didn't realize this is what the show was leading to. I mean, I know they kind of had, like, Masato was wearing, like, a cross and so on. I didn't think it was going to go full Jesus.
Oh, no, we're going full Jesus. This is what you were waiting for, wasn't it?
Yeah. But, going back to, like, when fucking, Shinji's on dummy pilot mode. That's just, like, I just feel that's such, like, the way to really insult your pilot. Just be like, put it on the fucking dummy mode. It's better than the regular pilot. He goes to that fucking, I love how just like it goes to brutally murder that Ava. Just I feel like Shinji's dad doesn't say it in there, but it's just almost like, okay, Shinji's watching. You know what? Since he's such a little bitch, have it rip out the fucking capsule, shove it in its mouth, and he'll just bite it like a fucking wild bear. You know what I mean? Just rip it apart, just so he can see that he fucking just murdered another fucking 14-year-old. That's what I want Shinji to know. I mean, it's, we got planned out. She'll probably live because I fucking. These pilots, they're not fucking a dime a dozen, let's be honest. I mean, I know I got my Ray Bay over there just filled with, filled to the brim, but they're not all ready yet.
There's also, like, like the dummy plug system, like the logo is just like hope you like the avatar we have for it, Shinji, just a picture of him with a stupid smile looking cross-eyed. Wearing like a crooked dunce cap. The whole dummy plug thing, and then it's probably like, I'm sure it wasn't a joke, but I mean, I don't know. There's things in Evangelion where it's very much like some weird metaphor just for the smallest things. But like, okay, his mom's spirit, spoilers for anybody who's never seen the show, his mom's spirit is inside the giant robot. So when they're trying to jam a phallic-type tube into it, and then he's saying, it's not taking the dummy plugs. He's like, why, Yui? Why are you refusing me? It's like it almost seems like I want to fuck tonight! Like, no, I'm just not in the mood. I just want to!
Take the fucking dummy plug. Would you fucking refuse it? But then it's
Shinji, your mom didn't die. She actually just divorced me and left. I just said she died because it was easier for me.
Yeah. That'd be easier for you, too. That'd turn you to a man, Yeah. I was wrong.
Just like your mother, a fucking woman.
Second time I was wrong in life. The first time I said is when she said she was pregnant. I go, you're not fucking pregnant. Yeah, I was fucking wrong.
I'm holding up this test right here. Literally says, I'm pregnant. Like, you're probably looking at it wrong. Like, this is every fucking conversation with you. Like, I can't fucking... Like, when I threw up yesterday, you said it was probably because I just had too much to drink. I didn't fucking drink the previous night. Like, oh, yeah, you probably did. This is every fucking conversation with you, Gendo.
Yeah, and then next, if you said, well, if you wanted to drink, it's probably your cooking. Made me throw up last night.
Be quiet and watch the TV.
Did you have any of it? No, I just smelt it and it just made me throw up. So I went out to Taco Bell, didn't you see?
Quiet, the game's on. He's watching the fucking, like, cornhole playoffs. Like, shit.
He's like, really? He's got like a fucking like cornhole like hat on of like his favorite team and everything like that.
Man, that's gonna fuck with my fantasy league right there. Shit.
Cut to the future. Oh yeah, by the way, Shinji, you fucked up on the job. You didn't kill the fucking angel that came down, so you're fucking fired. Here, put these handcuffs on. I don't trust you.
Yeah. Well, that all happens a lot sooner, and something similar happens in the original show, but I feel like this gotta, it'll happen a lot quicker, and I get it, because it's only like an hour and a half, hour and 40-minute movie, something like that. Mm-hmm. Something I do like about this might be, watching it again, I don't know if it's my favorite of all four. Mm-hmm. It was before, but, it's up there, because I think it has a right balance of what the show is, combined with enough different things that kind of legitimately caught me off guard when I first saw it.
And it's got quite a bit of good action, too.
The action's really awesome, too. And, like, the last battle scene between Shinji and the angel that fuses with Rei and gets really close into Nerve HQ. Yeah.
The one where Shinji's got to go save Rei, and Rei's like, no, I'm fine down here. I'm just going to sit here naked. And Shinji's like, no! You can't! You got to come back! He's like, I'll get naked too! I'm coming in!
I'll get so naked I'll lose all my skin!
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, he's getting really naked.
Yeah.
He's literally taking it all off. It's like one of those ones that kind of, rescues her and so on, gets her back in action, and then, you kind of learn that Asuka's not dead yet and everything like that, and that she's still alive, and even though Shinji's like, oh, I just love that. I do love the scene though, where like Shinji and his dad, like when he's kind of gets like arrested, and he's all like, all right, whatever. He's like, and his dad's kind of giving that speech like, you could be a man, He's like, and then she's like, no, I just don't want to pilot the ape anymore. Stupid, like you, Dad. He's like, come on, be a man, pilot it, fucking bitch. Yeah, walk out of here, just like your fucking mom did.
Well, there's also something that just made me die of laughter. I knew the context, because the show even lets you know, but okay, his dad, they're getting ready for this dinner, and the whole thing is, but originally, I don't think they were going to have dinner together in the show. I think what was happening is, they had a couple of, like, nice exchanges, and things were looking optimistic for them, and then the mission with the Eva, where he has to kill Toji, happens, or he has to fight Toji, and that happens, where... this one, they're leading up like, okay, I guess I'll have dinner with Shinji, I guess. And then, like, I like to think, in this, you see the car going to pick him up, but as soon as shit goes down, they have the montage of everybody reacting.
He, like, has the driver pull, like, the e-brake.
Yeah, well, that right there had me dying, because it was, like, one of those things, like, oh, he must have got the call that, that... the angel attacked. Like, no, he saw you on the sidewalk, and then he suddenly remembered he said yes to the dinner thing. He's like, oh, fuck, I didn't mean it, and then turned around and drove the other way.
No, I feel like that's totally it, too. Just like one of those ones. Like, it's the same thing, too. It's like he's like, wait a second, we're having it at Ray's house? Like, I like her a lot, that's the good kid I have, kid, wife, whatever you want to call it, but, But still, let's be honest. That girl doesn't know how to take care of her own room.
You sure you don't want to do this with, like, Red Lobster or some shit?
Yeah, exactly. Like, shit, I even got a coupon. Yeah, I know I can afford it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to pay it.
Plus, you get all those free cheddar biscuits. I mean, that's the real reason anybody goes there. You get lobster anywhere, but cheddar biscuits, fuck that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, I literally bring an extra bag, and I just start stuffing them in there all throughout the night that I'm there. Yeah, I know I can pay for them. Dude, that's not the fucking point. You're just not getting it, Ray.
It's the little things in life you gotta go for. And if getting free cheddar biscuits means spending $100 on a fucking lobster I really didn't want to eat, and so be it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, Ray? I know you've been cutting yourself up all week, to learn how to cook, but, you know what? If you've really cut yourself that many times, I'm not too sure if I want to eat what you're making. Just saying.
We could always do Olive Garden too. I don't know. They got free breadsticks.
I mean, they're right next to each other.
Tastes like asshole.
If we feel like it, we could just kind of like binge eat back and forth. We just walk back and forth until like somebody throws up. That's always kind of fun.
I guarantee it's gonna be Shinji.
He'll probably throw up just when he gets his first biscuit. He can't even handle anything.
I got a feeling that boy can't handle any dairy. Look at how frail he is.
Yeah. He's not really my genes. Just letting you know.
He's not my kind of kid. Well, he literally is your kid. Well, you know what I mean.
It's like, obviously, real life shows that it's a failure when you have kids. But if you make a clone in a factory, like you, Ray, you can get a kid who's right. At least a kid you want to take to dinner. At least take the Red Lobster.
As Anthony Mackie says.
Yeah. But
very random old pullback. But yeah.
But no, this one though, actually, this is a great, fun, exciting movie. The action's awesome in it. It does just kind of start off one way, turns on you real quick, but it like all kind of works in that way where it gets dark, it gets kind of violent, it gets to the point there where even Shinji, even though he's given up and like he's like, I just want to die and go away, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like once he realizes he always gotta go save Rey, he's fucking running back, jumping in the fucking suit and so on. You just gotta motivate Shinji in the right ways. That's like the key of this show. It's just like it's almost like, how do you motivate Shinji properly?
Just gotta motivate him with some proper clone mom pussy. That's all you really gotta do.
Yeah, it's weird that that's what he wants, but I'm not gonna question it either.
I don't think he knows by this point. I think he has this weird bond there, but he doesn't really put it together. But
yeah, I still think it's like the it's the Leia Luke thing. Lua, the combination of Leia and Luke.
Well, without spoiling things, the series does go different directions from the show. Like there is some. I haven't seen it since I have not seen it like in 6 years, but. The next one is 3.33 or 3.0, whatever they call it. I don't know. That one, I remember seeing it and being kind of whatever about it.
Uh-huh.
That being said, I kind of want to see it again and see what because now I'm like, because that one presents a bunch of it's interesting because it presents a bunch of new elements and it makes it vastly different from the show. That being said, though. It also like creates a lot more questions and things like, wait, why did you do that? But after watching the fourth movie and then just recently watching 1 and 2, I do want to see 3 again and see like how that holds up, because I actually view 3 kind of as I'm going to make a weird example here. Every so often you get that like filler movie, and that filler movie is just kind of like teeing things off, but it makes the next one that much better. I'm going to say, like, Infinity War. Like, Avengers Infinity War, everyone loved that walking out. I just liked it. I wasn't in love with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it teed everything up, and without that, you don't get Endgame, which I think is one of the best superhero movies ever made. So, number 3 is kind of like that, but I need to see it again, because it's been a while. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of those times, those movies could also kind of fall flat on their face. Because that's like, okay, that's kind of what Last Skywalker was. Seemed kind of like a tee off. We're getting ready for this shit. But then it was kind of redundant by the time you got to the third movie. So it's like, oh, okay, well, none of it fucking matters anyway. So, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I think it might be one of those ones, too, if I had to kind of guess, where, like, you watched it the first time, and since things kind of go differently, and they try some other things and so on, you kind of go, wait a second, that's how it's going and so on. But then when you come back to it and you watch it the next time and you know what's kind of up, that sometimes makes for a better almost experience, because now that you know what it is, you kind of come back into it and you go, oh no, actually this is actually really cool, now that I've kind of accepted it for what it is. Because I know that's how I feel sometimes. There's a lot of those kind of movies, you watch it the first time and you kind of get that, that was okay, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but then you come back to it later on, then you got to go, oh no, this is actually really good. I have a feeling that might be like that with that one.
Yeah, and it's also kind of, keep in mind, I only saw it once, and I saw it like 5 or 6 years ago. But I feel like it's, I'm trying to think of like a real eloquent way to put it without sounding like a fucking asshole. Because I didn't hate it. It's one of those things where a lot of movies have been doing lately, over the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years, where if it's established franchise, it starts kind of deconstructing itself within, like, itself and putting it into the narrative. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I didn't realize it at first, but looking back on it and also looking at a few little videos, like video essays, like, oh, so the reason these weird things are happening, aside from just because it's trying to flip it on its head, it's deconstructing itself and analyzing itself as a series and as a genre, as opposed to just telling another robot story and mixing it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it starts doing those like partial, like fourth wall kind of breaking things. I mean, not necessarily talking to the camera, but kind of in that sense where it's like, wait a second, it's almost like spinning itself around to look at itself.
Yeah, like I didn't realize it at the time, but then thinking about it and then watching like a video or two on it. Now I don't know if Ono has come out and officially said that about things about 3, but number 4, it's very obvious, but in a good way, I think. So yeah, we'll circle back on that. We might be covering, I don't know which one's going to come out first, number 3 or Shang-Chi. Because we're definitely covering Shang-Chi because Kung Fu movie. It's a Kung Fu movie in theaters.
That comes out, I think, Thursday. So
yeah.
So that might be a little in between of the Evangelions, but we can do them all. We can do them all together in a sense. Well, not together, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the same week maybe or something. But yeah.
But yeah. But beyond that, I do look very forward to watching Evangelion 3.33. As I say, this actually kind of put me in the mode that, like, and like the in-between time that we had between this movie and the second one and whatnot. I was like, shit, I'm going to watch some Gundam fucking Wing in between, kind of get my, like, mech fix in there and so on. And I forgot how fucking serious that show is. I mean, like, serious in a good way. It's like, that's like an anime where there's, like, nobody's fucking laughing or bitching around, like, and literally all those kids in there are pretty much just full-on terrorists just murdering people left and right. I'm like, huh. This is a good fucking show. It's like it's just been. I don't think I've watched it since like in a sense like the late '90s, early 2000s when it was on like the Cartoon Network era. And it's
last time I saw it.
Yeah, it's just like, and it's like I just forgot. It was just like one of those ones. It's like, man, Gundam Wing is so good, and then it's just amazing how brutal that thing is. I mean, I guess it's that easy one to wrap. Like, well, it's a mech killing another mech. Yeah, but there is also people inside those mechs getting brutally murdered too. Well, yeah, but when it's explosion, it's a nice death.
It was also kind of like, it's like, well, I guess when I was a kid, I was like, well, they're exploding, but it's quick and painless, right? Well, not always. Sometimes just on fire, like, whoa, whoa!
And there's just debris just blasted through your body now because it's, just exploding from every angle and whatnot, and you're just like hanging on. Yeah, it's just amazing how, like, I just forgot, like, because there's the one part where there's the Chinese guy or whatnot. He literally goes and he just, a 14-year-old fucking kid goes to blow up an entire fucking barracks while everybody's asleep. I'm like, holy shit. Like,
I'm trying to remember, because I remember they had a lot. I remember being like, that was the first thing they had coming on Toonami, like at midnight. They're like, it's uncut. There's a little bit of blood, and they say, damn. But then, like, on top of that, though, there were things like, there's like an episode I remember where one of them murders an entire space colony, and then it's like one of the main characters. Like, it was a bad day.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like all those main characters really aren't that. They're all like, I mean, not all of them, I guess, are like terrorists, but like, you get Hero, and then you also get, I can't remember what there's a Chinese guy that's got like I almost want to say it's like the Shenlong like robot, but I think
not Kuei Long, I think, or Kuei Lin, something kind of like that. It's a very...
I want to say his robot's something like a Shenlong type sounding name. But it's like you get him, and then it's like, I mean, then there's like Duo and so on. I mean, there's the one guy, the blonde, the ultra blonde haired guy. who lives in like the Middle East, who really he's like, to me, he feels like the embodiment of like Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog if he was I was gonna say a live action person, but an anime live action person and not a fox. Like, he feels like the Tails character, like 100%. Like the whole way he talks and acts and everything.
He's the nice guy who wants to try and do everything by the book, as nice and as friendly as possible, and he's the one who's always trying. I think his name was Quatra or Quatra.
Yeah, it's like Quatra or something like that.
Duo was the loudmouth American guy. I don't even know. I want to say, like, on Toonami they had all their listings of like their ethnicities, but I feel like that could have just been some shit that the dubbing company did. Like, Hero? Was it Hero? Is the main character Hero?
Well, it's funny because I remember in the American version they call him Hero, but like when I'm watching in the Japanese version, it's spelled Heero, so it's like Hero. So it's like, it's literally just like a Japanese name, but in America, hey, Hero, whatever, he's the hero of the show. Fucking, that's what he's gonna be called. He's Hero. What? Hey, come on, Hero. We're trying to sell this to little wholesome American kids, and so make him the hero. Shit. Like, so I felt like that's how it turned into that,
Yeah, there's that, and then there's Duo. He was supposed to be Japanese. Duo was supposed to be American.
Duo is my favorite character of them all, though.
Yeah. Fei Lin, or whatever, or Kui Long, or something. It was something like that. He was obviously Chinese, but then it said Quatra was Egyptian. It was like, really? He must bleach his hair then. He must be doing, because
Well, what I feel like is he's like one of those ones. It's like a holdover. Like his family in World War II moved down there. You know what I mean? And to the Middle East, and there's never left.
Yeah.
And now he kind of like is there. And then you also got Heavy Arms. I can't remember what his name is, but he's like.
Troa?
Yeah, Troa. That's right. It's weird. I remember their robot names.
And he was Russian.
Yeah, and he was in the circus and so on and whatnot. And he's got like literally the most proto like reverse mullet like emo haircut that like. I feel like that show must have like created that haircut. I mean, there's other characters. I've seen that actually. I take that back because I remember there's a character in a 70s episode of Lupin the Third that had that kind of hairstyle too. So. It's been around for a while, but yeah, no, Evangelion just kind of put me in that mood. I'm like, well, I'm gonna watch some Gundam Wing in between these movies. And then it's just like, then I fell kind of like into it. Like all of a sudden I was like, shit, this is really fucking good. I forgot how much I like Gundam Wing.
I haven't seen it in years. I remember it being one of my favorite shows and like buying a lot of the toys and the models and all that around that time when it was coming out. So it was kind of like my door out of like, no, fuck Pokemon. It's all about Gundam Wing, But Gundam Wing and Dragon Ball Z, these American cartoons just can't keep up, So.
Yeah, that's what me there. It's like, it's all good, Japan, they know what's up, you know what I mean? They say damn, and, people kill each other, and shit goes down, and battles last for 30 episodes.
But I haven't seen Gundam Wing in a while, but I have to check that out, because this is kind of putting me in a little bit more of an anime-ish type mood, but, more animes that I know, like, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, anime, I do like anime, then I'm like, let me just stick to the shit I know, like, do you want to put on, like, this My Hero Academia shit? Like, give it 2 episodes, not my thing, I'll just stick with what I know, it's all good, but it took you, like, a whole season before you got into Full Metal Alchemist, don't give a shit, sticking to what I know, I'm in that little comfort bubble now.
Well, I always feel like it's like because there's so much of it anyways, it's like you almost can kind of stay in your comfort zone of like anime, and I don't think it's really necessarily a bad thing because there's so much content just in that, like, for me it's like I always kind of feel for like it's that generally 80s 90s era of anime, like right there's already so many choices I have and so many episodes that I feel like, I don't even know if I have enough lifetime left to really watch through all of them, so I'm like, I'm kind of good with that, and plus being able to like sort of watch like the Japanese versions of them, I think just makes a big difference too. It's almost like you watch the show that you already kind of know and like, but then you almost kind of get like the sort of the better copy. It's almost like when I was going through like Tenchi Muyo again and so on like that too. It's like it's almost kind of like in a sense a nice refreshing way to kind of go through it and then get like, I don't know, I just feel like you get the Japanese like subtitled version. It's like, oh, this is the way it's kind of meant to be. It feels like it makes more sense. It's no different than watching kung fu movies and you've been having like the cheap like dollar store version you got, and then you finally get like the nice put together like Arrow or like Criterion Collection version. You're like, oh shit, this is the way this movie's supposed to be enjoyed.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll be covering. But going back to that though, we'll be covering number 3. We'll be covering 3 pretty soon, and then probably maybe Shang-Chi before or after. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah, we'll combine our kung fu and our mech type anime. So there we go. But till then, go to oldmanorange.com where you can find more podcasts, comic books like Pizza Boys, old animations, and all that fun stuff. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
We'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.